hop on it. My code 500 on, put no miles on it. I was running wild, homie, with 500,000 on me. Going to the jeweler, push the AP, yeah. Sliding on the water like a jet ski, yeah.
What's up, y'all? Just want to do a quick overview of my 2012 F250 and the sound system in it. So pretty much I've had this thing a couple months, and I have Skar, a bunch of Skar stuff done to it. So to start off, we have Skar speakers up front. I think it's like you can hardly see them, but it's a TX68, I think, off the Skar website. They sound great, sound better than factory. My factory ones were kind of blown out. I have it in both front doors. And then if we come to the back, I have well, it looks weird from here, but I built a box back here in the bed for my two 12-inch Skar subs. It is in a full Skar box. Inside of this, I kind of built this box to protect it, and then I had a piece of an old tailgate I cut out to make the Super Duty right there, because it was pretty messed up tailgate. Put that on there, a screen, that way you can still see them at night. I have lights in there that kind of light up. I'll put a clip in here towards the end of the video. But built this box to protect it extra, even with the bed cover, just because subs aren't cheap, and I didn't want to have to replace them at any point. So we have two Skar 12-inch subs in there inside this box, and they came with a Skar box inside there. I ordered a full box and wiring kit, so that's that. They're sitting in there. They bump hard. I mean, the whole bedside, you can just see it moving when they're cranked up. Okay, so for the wiring to it, I have it all, as you can see, you can't see any wires from here. But if we look under the seat, I have the amp right here. It came with the amp and all the wiring needed. It was like a $600 total kit, I think, something like that. Not too bad. So we have, this is your main, here, let me zoom in. This is your main power wire. I have this ran here, down, and then see if we can see it. It's taped up there, but underneath, down the frame, and now it goes up to the battery. We have, sorry, I gotta figure out what I had. So these two audio wires right there go back, and they tap into a rear speaker here. I have a line output converter on there too. That way it will connect up to these, and that works great. Haven't had any problems with that. This, hold up, it's hard to hold this endpoint. That right there is your remote wire. So that there goes up to a control up front. I have a little knob that I can adjust the base with. For the wiring on this side, we have a positive and negative right there, positive and negative speaker wire. And that is your output going to your sub right there. So those two wires just run straight up to the sub. You can't tell up in there, but they do run up from the bottom of the bed up into there, connected to the sub. You only have two wires actually running to the sub. The main power wire again. Sorry, like I said, it's hard to point and do this. So main power wire, let me see if I can move some of these out the way. We have the ground right there, the second one over, and then the REM or remote wire. This is your second remote wire. So this one is different from your first one. This one here, you're going to run up to I ran mine up to my auxiliary switches up here, and that way I can, when the truck turns on, the amp and sub and all that turns on. Or if I have the key just sitting in the on position, they can turn on, but other than that, they're off. That way I don't forget about them. You can have them on a separate switch or just a vehicle running light, but I wanted to be able to switch mine on and off. So I just have that ran under the floor mats and up through there, and then up to the aux switches. But yeah, the wiring is pretty simple, but there's not many videos on how to do it. So it took me a while to figure out, because it was my first time doing audio. But I just have that sitting up in there, all the wiring kind of tucked away where it's not visible. Oh, there's my line output converter. I forgot to show that right there. It does take a few wires. It takes like a positive, negative, and then speaker wires, I think. And then the speaker wires to this plug into that too. But then close that away. You can't hardly ever tell. So then, like I said, can't see any of the wires in the bed because it runs straight up from the back bottom up into that. And then I'll get y'all some sound clips. I don't have many good ones, But like I said, this thing bumps like the whole side will move. I did originally have them in the cab when I first got them, sitting right here, and they bump hard in the cab, but they bump way harder in the bed. So I would advise building some type of bed setup like I have, and no one will know. Other than my sticker up there, you would never know I have ginormous subs in here. So that's my audio setup. I'll show you all some sound clips, and that'll be it for the video. Thank y'all for watching, and enjoy.